Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. So today, we're gonna introduce the new car. So, picked up a new car last Monday. Last Monday. I wanted to do like a film, like on the way to the dealership, on the way back, but we just ended up running out of time. I had some things to do earlier in the day. I had to work on the S2000 a little bit, and then I had to go do stuff for work. So now I'm back. It's been about a week. I filmed a few other videos with the car that I'll be posting after this one, obviously. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I've been gone for about 7 months, which obviously is going to be the reason for lack of content. So sorry about that. I'm going to try and post a little bit more regularly. At least I hope to, depending on work and stuff like that. But I guess I'll give you guys a little bit of why I decided to go with this specific car. So I have the S2000, obviously here it is. So it's still here, still is waiting to be picked up hopefully in the next couple of weeks to be finished with the drivetrain, new ECU turbo. There's a lot of stuff coming for this car. Hoping to make some passes at the drag strip this year. So we'll see on that. Hopefully it works out. But for a while I was thinking of maybe getting like a 5.0 Mustang Coyote or like an LS3 Grand Sport and building that and making another drag car. And I went back and forth on those two for a while. And then I started looking at Supras, A90s, to maybe do something that's probably not going to be as fast in a straight line as those other two cars, but that still looks nice and be fun to drive. I'm not trying to, I ended up deciding against getting the first two 100% just because I don't need another straight line car that I mod to the moon and then it's just gonna break often, all the time, however often it breaks. Pushing, 900, 1,000 horsepower, things are gonna break regardless of what you do. There's not really a reliability, any kind of reliability at that power level. In my experience, people will say otherwise, but something's going to fail eventually and it's going to lead to downtime, and that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something I can kind of enjoy. So after that, I kind of started looking at FK8s, Civic Type R, the 10th gen Civic Type Rs, but I just have never been a fan of the body style. I think that they just look overdone. There's so many fake vents. It looks so just overdone. The styling's just way too much, and I understand a lot of it's functional, but it's just way too much for me. And also, whenever those came out, 5 years ago, they MSRP'd for like between 32 and 34,000, and they're still going for over 40,000. So I didn't feel like paying $10,000 in markup for a used car with like 30,000 miles on it that's already been beat on by somebody, tracked or whatever. So after a while, I just kind of decided against doing that altogether. I didn't really feel like that's something that I wanted to do. Hop into a car that has already been beat on, used, and is still above what MSRP was 5 years ago. So that led me to look at something else that I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to get. Allocations were low, pretty much none, and everyone that was already here or coming here was completely spoken for. Or if they weren't, they wanted ridiculous amounts above MSRP. So I kind of just started calling dealerships 2 weeks before I got home from work, and I ended up contacting 22 dealerships in total. It was a lot of phone calls, and I still have some of the dealerships calling me, and I'm kind of just at this point just kind of ignoring the calls just because I've already bought one. It's already here. It's already at the house right outside right now, outside the garage, and none of the dealerships were willing to work with me, except really two. I think it was three, but one of the dudes, his customer service was just terrible. The dealership in general wasn't good to work with. And then the other dealership, they worked with me, but they weren't willing to match or even come close to what this dealership was willing to work with me. And then the dealership I am going with, they were really good, and I'll tell you more about the dealership. If you guys want to put a guess in the comments before I open the garage door to guess what I got, It is a Honda, so keeping it with the Hondas, and it is also blue. So I'll go ahead and open the door now, and then we will go do a quick walk around on the car, like first impressions real quick. And then I'll kind of tell you guys about the buying experience. Probably won't tell how much I paid. It wasn't nearly as much as what most people paid. I just don't feel like putting that information out on YouTube, but I will say the dealership was great. So here we go. That's 2000. All right, guys. So here it is. Got some, it's a little bit dirty. But so this is it. 2023 Honda Civic Type R in Boost Blue Pearl. So we'll do a quick. So I got the, let's make sure, yeah, so I got the Alcantara steering wheel here. I wanted the high-rise floor mats, they didn't have any of those. And on top of that, I did get the whole front end PPF. So the dealership took it to a shop and got a PPF for me, which was the only way I was able to secure this color, which will go in here in a second. So I'll go ahead and get in here. So just got to say right off the bat, I absolutely love this car. So this thing is so much better than what I thought it would be. It's just so good in so many ways. The handling, all that stuff. Let me close this so the door doesn't keep ringing. So here it is. Sound system, and it's amazing. The handling is spectacular. It was way better than I thought it would be. Obviously I've seen a lot of the reviews, and I've been in a lot of cars, and I was expecting it to handle well, but I wasn't expecting it to handle this well. So this thing just really grips the road, and it's so good. And I completely understand why all the reviews are so adamant, I guess, about how great this car is. The seats are super comfortable. I've heard a lot about those as well. I don't know exactly what I was expecting, but out of all my cars that I've ever driven and that I've ever owned, these seats are probably the most comfortable, and they also have the most aggressive bolstering. So that's pretty cool that they can kind of do both. And then the red fabric, it's soft, plush. This steering wheel is a very fine ply of suede or Alcantara or whatever it is. Like my RS3s was nice, but this is so much more fine. And because of that, like, your hands don't sweat. Like, my hands don't sweat whenever gripping the steering wheel. And it was to the point to where I almost had to wear gloves in my RS3 whenever I drove it, because my hands would get so sweaty grabbing the Alcantara steering wheel. And then also, for practicality here, this trunk is huge. Throw the seats down. That one didn't go down all the way, but this trunk is massive. It has so much usability, to the point where I got this whole air compressor in the box, like whole air tank in the box and everything. And then I bought a bunch of other stuff, threw it all in there, and then also went grocery shopping after, and it all fit in there with so much room to spare. It was super nice. But so we'll go over kind of the buying experience. So let's see, I got the Windows sticker. I don't know what it says. So yeah, so it's just has all the features. Did this on the S2000. All the features, destination and handling charge here, MSRP, Boost Blue Pearl here, and then this doesn't have like this stuff I added to it. This is just the regular Windows sticker, and no, this is not what I paid. So I did pay above MSRP. I did pay markup, but like I said, it wasn't nearly what other dealerships were wanting to charge. I hit up one dealer, I think it was like the second one I called, and they had a Sonic Gray, I think the color is, and they wanted $20,000 in markup, and then they had an additional $10,000 in accessories that they said I had to buy with the car. And then on top of that, there was $7,000 in warranties. I think the total price of that one after everything, before financing and before tax titles and fees, was like 80,800. And then also, you know, it's going to be probably about 4,000 or 5,000, maybe more for tax titles and fees. And I just kind of was like, I was like, y'all aren't moving on that? Like, you guys are set on this? Because, I mean, obviously, or probably if I could have just got it for just the accessory charge, knock off the warranties and markup, that's, at least with accessories, you're getting something for your money. But they just kind of laughed at me, so I just hung up the phone. And I think this was one of the last dealers. I was starting to lose hope quick. And then I got in contact with Honda of Chantilly. They're in Virginia. It's about 2.5 hours from my house. I got in contact with those guys. And I said, hey, are you guys charging over MSRP? They're like, we are, but it's, you know, we're negotiating. And I said, that's great. They start off a conversation with that. That's the best way any of these dealerships have started a conversation so far. So I said, okay, yeah, get me in touch with someone in your sales team. And I only had WhatsApp at the time due to where I was at. And so within 10 minutes, I think my salesman, his name is Ryan. He did fantastic. Within 10 minutes, he called me. He let me know that they had a Boost Blue Pearl one coming in that day or the next day, I can't remember. And that they also had a Sonic Gray one coming in. So I wanted the Boost Blue Pearl from the start. I think the color looks fantastic. And also, obviously, I like blue. So I'm also planning on putting white wheels on that, kind of so it's kind of matching. And then whenever I get welds on the S2000, I'm going to have those powder coated white as well. So anyways, he asked if I wanted to put a deposit down. I said, hey, you know, like, not really, not yet. I'm kind of still looking at other dealers just in case someone can beat, or if someone's willing to negotiate. And I wasn't able to put the deposit down on a Boost Blue Pearl because it was coming in that day. So they didn't want to hold it because I still had 2 or 3 weeks till I was coming home. And they don't want to hold a car for somebody that's at the dealership already whenever they can sell that and make a profit, obviously. And you can't fault them for that. They're there to make money at the end of the day. You can't fault a business for trying to make money. It's just how life works. So I was a little upset on that, but they said, hey, but we have this Sonic Gray one coming in at the end of May, and this is May, what's today? Today's like May, like 6th? May 7th. So today's May 7th. It wasn't going to come until the 30th, and I wanted a car when I landed. So I landed in Baltimore on the 30th, and I wanted to pick up a car. That was on Sunday. I wanted to pick up a car on the 1st, which was Monday, just because that's just how I wanted it to happen. I wanted it to be smooth, have a car that I can drive and enjoy that's not going to give me a bunch of heartaches driving it like my S2000 is right now. I just blew a second diff and put in a third, as you guys will see the YouTube video on that soon. So they said, what they kind of told me was, if the Boost Blue Pearl one is still here whenever you land, and on Monday, and you text us in the morning that you're coming up, we will hold the car for you at that point, but we cannot hold it sooner. But I knew there were people coming to look at the car. Obviously, not everyone's going to be able to afford to buy it. Not everyone's going to get approved for markup on top of the loan with these interest rates and that kind of stuff. So that had me really worried. You know, I was still like 2-3 weeks out, and I was like, I really don't know. I got to figure out a way to get them to let me have the car. And what I also knew is that I wanted to PPF the car. I wanted to have the car PPF'd on pickup so I can drive it home, not worry about rock chips on the way home. I want to protect the car. So I wanted a full front end PPF. So I kind of called Ryan and I said, hey, who do I have to talk to? I want my car PPF'd before I pick it up. And he said, yeah, that won't be a problem. We can PPF a car for you. We have a shop that does it. And I said, well, the only issue is the Boost Blue Pearl one. This was like a week before I was supposed to head out, right? So this was a week before I was supposed to be back. I pretty much said, the Boost Blue Pearl one that I want would take about, if you guys started prepping it today, the PPF would be done by Monday. And he's like, I see what you're saying. So you're wanting to PPF the blue car for it to be picked up. And I said, yes. I'm like, I'll pay for the PPF up front, and then that'll just go as part of like, instead of using some of my down payment to finance the car, I'll use some of my down payment to PPF the car because I was gonna have to pay for it out of pocket anyways. I said, but I want you guys, if you guys can get me a quote on your PPF prices, and if that means I can reserve the blue one to where it will 100% be mine, let's go ahead and move forward with this. So he contacted his manager. I think his manager reached out to me. He said, hey, is this something you're actually wanting to do? And I said, yes, if it means that I can have the blue car, I want to go ahead and get it PPF today so it'll be ready for pickup on Monday. And they said, yeah, let's do it. So that's exactly what happened. And then Monday, first thing, I got in my, had a GTI, got in the GTI for trade-in, and I drove it up there, traded in the GTI, and did the paperwork, and it was pretty smooth. The only thing was they didn't notice that the front shipping pucks were in the car still for the struts. So I had to kind of point that out and explain it to them that those had to be removed. Obviously that's not on my salesman, that's on the service department. I don't think all new Civics come with those. So my salesman was kind of perplexed. He's like, are you, like, what do you, he's like, he didn't know what I was talking about. So I just like, yeah, can I just talk to someone in service? And at that point they took it back and they removed the pucks and all was well. That was the only thing wrong. The PPF looks really good. There's a couple spots to where it's a little bit messed up, and I contacted the person who owned the PPF shop that did the car, and I'll keep you guys updated on this because I do want it fixed. And he said, hey, obviously you're 2.5 hours away, so what we'll do is you send me pictures of it and what you want fixed, and then at that point I will find a PPF shop near you to have it taken care of at no charge to you, which is phenomenal. That's great customer service if that's actually how it's going to work. They were kind of in a hurry doing the car, so you know, it is what it is. I'm not super upset about it. It's just little things bug me, especially since I want this car to be clean. And if they're actually gonna, you know, however they're gonna do it, pay another PPF shop to fix this or whatever near me, that would be awesome. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. Obviously, if they back out of that, I'm probably gonna be upset. Definitely make a video on it, but I'm not expecting them to. Their customer service has been great as well. Honda of Chantilly's customer service was amazing. Their sales, one of their sales associate, I don't want to throw all their names on there, just privacy reasons, but their sales associate that helped me, she was super nice, super awesome, and then the sales manager was super awesome too. And even at the point of buying the car, they were still able to cut me deals with their financing. They fudged the numbers somehow, but kept the loan term to make it to where my payment was lower than what I was originally expecting, which is phenomenal. Obviously, they don't have to do that. I just went in there. I wanted the wheel and tire package, and they pretty much added the wheel and tire package, and it was like an extra $2 a month on the loan or something. It was something super low like that, which is awesome. So since I plan on tracking the car and doing road course, and since that also covers any aftermarket wheels and tires, any wheel and tire that is on the car at the time of damage is covered under that according to the dealer, which is also, I've seen it done before, so that's great. But honestly, I think that about wraps up that experience. They were really great. I really recommend them. So awesome, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys later.